the other big thing here is that his mother um, was also a guardian, legally, um, also let him down, but because she didn't protect him, and that's her job as a parent. However, she was also in the cycle of abuse. So it's a very complicated thing of like, well, in his perspective, though, like you can see that, well, how is she supposed to protect him when she's being abused as well? But also, that's the parent's job.
Yeah.
So in his mind, his parents let him down. His parents stripped him of a childhood. So um, they're just better gone. And when, in the film, when the father disappears, early on in their childhood, no one questions it because like it's much better that he's not around.
Welcome to Survive the Shows. Okay. Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment. We are here today at Survival Shows. I'm Desiree, and today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Brandon Taylor, star of the Lifetime movie A Monster in the Family, the Stacey Kananen Story. Join us as we delve into Brandon's insight into his character and the challenges of filming this movie. Thank you for being here with us, Brandon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure for me. So, talking
Mhm.
about this movie, when you first read the script for A Monster in the Family, what
Mhm.
was your immediate emotional reaction to Rickie's character and the story overall?
My immediate reaction to Ricky. I mean, I just found, I mean, the whole story, especially because it's a true story, it's that I found it to be so tragic, and like any character that you're given, you want to look from their perspective of why they did what they did, and it doesn't excuse anything, but it explains it. And yeah, I mean, to have gone through the level of abuse, unfortunately, that they went through as a child, and him trying to do the right thing early on by saving his sisters and so forth, but that ultimately manifested into his affected his behavior later on and what he thought was right and wrong. So yeah, it's a it's a tragic tale, but it's uh, when you get your idea of like what is right, I mean, you can see how it could be twisted and maybe you do the wrong thing.
Yeah,
So in which case, that's what happened with him. Yeah.
yeah. And how did you prepare to play Ricky's, a real person, uh,
Mhm.
and who is at the center of such a harrowing true story? And what research did you do?
So we were given a package of information in regards to this because it is this particular movie, as well as some of other Lifetime movies lately, are based on true stories. There's plenty of information out there, and these are stories ripped from the headlines, so meaning that they've been in the news. So there's plenty of information out there, and actually, in my case, you can actually find the actual court depositions of not just my character of Ricky, but character, real person,
Yeah,
but also everyone involved in the story. They've changed some names and so forth for the film, I believe. But yeah, I mean, these are always sort of based on true stories. So if they make them most watchable for a film script. So they'll change a couple things here and there, but overall it's pretty close. So you can find all of these things. So there are definitely things that these characters said in real life that make it into this movie. So yeah, just watching as much as you can. The your biggest ally when making any movie, whether it's based on a true story or not, as an actor, is information. You just like getting the most that you can, so you can have the most information to create this character that's real or not. So you're allowed to sort of get in their headspace and therefore go with the script. So yeah, that's there's lots out there for a lot of these stories. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's cool. Yeah.
And did you meet Stacey Kananen or any family members, the real one, I mean, and or consult primary sources while preparing? And if so, how did those conversations influence your performance?
I did not get to meet anyone involved in it. No, it is based on the book on the story of Stacey. So, yeah, I imagine that I believe the producers, obviously were in touch of telling because it is sort of based on her perspective of the story that they would be in touch with and the writing partners and the writers be in touch with Stacey. But yeah, I don't know what that would be like for her to meet her brother in the film world, or what that would be like, or but yeah, I mean, I, I know some actors do get to meet the real people sometimes. So yeah, that in my case, no, just sort of based on the information that's out there. So yeah.
Yeah. And Rickie's confession and subsequent accusations are the film's emotional pivot. How did you approach that scene from an acting and ethical standpoint?
Can you repeat the first part again, please?
Rickie's confession and the subsequent accusations are the
Hmm.
film's emotional pivot center.
Hmm.
How did you approach that scene from an acting and ethical standpoint?
Hmm. You know, the from an acting standpoint, when there are evil characters in a movie, um, the worst thing you can do from a performance standpoint is to play evil, because no one is really evil in their mind. Like, it's our perspective from when we see them. So these actors are, anyone who is evil is doing the exact thing that they think is right. So you definitely can't play like it's and also it's far more interesting to play it from a perspective of like, I'm justified in this behavior. And for him, and I looked at for Rickie, it's, he was, first of all, he's much older than his sisters. He was uh, significantly older, and so he was the first to be abused by his father, and also endured it possibly the longest. Um, and the other big thing here is that his mother um, was also a guardian, legally, um, also let him down, but because she didn't protect him, and that's her job as a parent. However, she was also in the cycle of abuse. So it's a very complicated thing of like, well, in his perspective, though, like you can see that, well, how is she supposed to protect him when she's being abused as well? But also, that's the parent's job. So in his mind, his parents let him down. His parents stripped him of a childhood. So um, they're just better gone. And when, in the film, when the father disappears, early on in their childhood, no one questions it, because like it's much better that he's not around. So and he sees that too. And then he also, when his, I don't know if we're doing spoilers here or whatever, um, but that, when his mom disappears and turns out he's like, in my mind, it's like her money is more useful than she is, because, your mom is useless. She didn't protect me, and like I didn't get a childhood, so at least I could have that and try to build a life. And the only way to get that is by killing her. So that's, again, not the right thing to do, but that was that was sort of his justification. And so when Stacey doesn't see him from that perspective, or see that perspective as justified, he's almost baffled and confused. Like, how could you not see it how I saw it? How would you not agree with me that I'm trying to do this for us? And that's when he realizes, well, he's in trouble and she's got to go too. So, yeah, I don't know if that fully answers the question, but that was sort of my thinking around it. And again, never justifying it, but explaining it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Mm.
the film deals with the themes of abuse, trauma, and family loyalty. How did you navigate portraying this character with both family and accused perpetrator without simplifying him?
Say that last part again, if you don't mind.
Without simplifying him, stereotype or
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Um, I mean, I guess um, it sort of piggybacks on my previous answer of uh, you can't play a stereotype. Everyone is these characters are all sort of justified in their behavior, and yeah, you play as you're sort of feeling it. I mean, I remember seeing an interview with Christoph Waltz, from Inglorious Bastards, the famous movie where he plays the Nazi officer, and an interviewer asked him, like, how do you play evil? How do you get in the evil mind? And he straight up said, without hesitation, he's not evil. He's not evil. And it's like, here's a guy who's a Nazi officer, potentially the most evil person ever, but like in this guy's mind, he's just doing what is right. And so long as you, yeah, play from that perspective of like what they're doing, then you find that natural behavior. You don't ever play the behavior of stereotyped bad guy, and that's definitely you can find your way to that, but it's not really your job as an actor. Your actor is to play the truth of whatever is happening, and it's up to the story structure and everything else to sort of give that perspective that, oh, that's, yeah, he's bad, but like, I don't know, maybe you could rewrite the movie and make it seem like he's a good guy, depending on how you were to do it. It would be kind of dark and twisted, but that's all in the writing and the editing and so forth too. So, yeah, it's not my job is just to do the character, and the rest of the film crew and everyone involved makes it all come together. So, yeah.
yes, right. And
Mm.
were there specific moments or beats in the scripts you felt were crucial to show Ricky's complexity? And can you walk us through how you choose to play them moments?
Mm. We have there's a sort of a climax or big shift moment where after Rickie's been hiding this for a while. Stacey's still confused. She gets interrogated. She feels she's being, she's now being targeted by the police, and she's leaving the police station, and then she's about to drive off, and then Rickie gets in the truck with her, and then they're talking, and yeah, that scene is one of my favorite scenes. Is earlier on in our shoot there, but of we're driving in the car, so they have the car rig set up, so two cameras, and in a way it was kind of nice because there's no film crew. They just press record on the camera, and then we just drive, and we had a little loop where we're driving, and that's nice because it feels like a real conversation. Like we're not, we don't have eyes on us immediately. We're just sort of in the scene together as these two characters, and yeah, having that scene sort of explained where I have to sort of admit that um, I killed dad, and then later in that scene sort of killed mom. There was a moment of, Rickie says, mom was going to give away dad's money. Like, that's our money. We owe that. And Stacey's instant reaction was, well, it's mom's money. She can do whatever she wants with it, which is like, makes sense logically. But to Rickie was like, how dare you? What are you talking about? That's ours. Like, no, she doesn't. She owes that to us. And like, you know, so that was a betrayal, a moment of betrayal, I think, that sort of was the beginning of the end of like, Stacey's not going to go along with me on this. And, I have to find a way out of this. If you're not with me, you're against me. Like that was sort of a moment I found. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. And what was the director vision for Ricky, and how much room did she give you to shape the role?
Oh, the director's vision. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jess Harmon, who a great director and is a friend of mine. Um, she was very open to me, and I think early on my audition helped sort of secure the vibe of this because it wasn't trying to play like the stereotype, like you were saying. It was this maybe a more unassuming character. Like I love playing bad guys, but I don't get to do it as often as I like. Maybe it has to do something with my appearance because there are definitely people that just look more like bad guys with their facial features or whatever. And I do a lot of like, I do commercials and other roles where other sort of softer roles. So it's nice to sort of flip that. And that was the idea with the casting overall with this film. So she got me to really kind of take my own versions in with it and just give it like there's a lot of trust I think with directors like when like the casting is a lot of the job itself, and then if you have the right people, then they'll give you what you want. And if you really get the casting part, then you kind of just and you make it clear what you're doing, then everything should come together, I think. Um, I don't really like it when directors nitpick stuff too much. I mean, I want them to get what they need in the end, but to be trusted with that is really great. And then the other thing is we don't know exactly how all of these interactions went, and so we got to play them differently. And then again, that's not my job of what ends up in the final movie, but I can tell you a lot of the scenes in this got a lot more heated and a lot more emotional in some takes because it makes sense with the stakes and the story that are there.
Yeah.
But how they wanted to show it in the end, it's just really not my job. In the end, my job is to sort of play it realistically in the various ways that it could be, the different choices that are there, and try one. Maybe it's a bit more emotional. The next time, like, okay, let's try one where it's just sort of more under the surface, more grounded, and then she's like, yeah, that's great too. Yeah, great. All right, moving on. So I think so long as it's true, scenes and movies can look different. So long as like you're playing it from a truthful way, because there is no right answer ultimately, right? It's the creative vision that decides that in the end.
Yeah, great. And
Mm.
talking about working opposite Alicia Cuthbert, uh, what were the biggest challenges and surprises in your scenes together? And how did you build chemistry for such tense material?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised to learn that she was in the movie. I did not know that when I got the role. I and I also learned that she got it pretty pretty soon before shooting. So we both didn't have a ton of time. In these cases, you wish you had weeks and weeks to dive in and
Yeah.
create something. So it was a lot of sort of the just making choices. That's where the sort of experience and skill, I think, comes in for both of us, of like making decisions on the fly, like what we're gonna try, what we're gonna do. Yeah, I'm a big fan for me because Alicia Cuthbert is in a lot of really formative movies. You know, me growing up and shows, and yeah, it was really cool to see her. We had a little bit of time to sort of get to know each other ahead of time, and as well as hang out with the directors and producers and stuff. And um, but I was very surprised of. Well, I mean, not really surprised. She's just very professional. She's a really committed actor, and really it was really inspiring to see someone. She's would really give her all, every take, and she's really present and vulnerable, and knew her stuff and knew where she was coming from. A lot of the time, it is the director's job to sort of, okay, remember, like we're shooting it out of sequence, so we,
Yeah.
coming from this part and we're going into this is the emotional level, and that's what a director's job to keep that up. And but Alicia really knew it all herself. She's very on board with where she's at and offering suggestions, and her technical know-how of like, but we got to get the scene. What if I there's a lot when there's blocking and moving stuff around. There's a scene where we're moving Christmas gifts into the closet and stuff, and she was really instrumental in sort of structuring how that would all work. And then she understands the flow of scenes and when they're moving, when they should kind of slow down. And yeah, it was really like, I'm always learning. I've been doing this a while, but I'm always learning. And it's always great to have, like, there's a reason why this person has worked so much, is because like they have a whole lot of experience under their belt and they're bringing it all here and we get to see it. So it's, like it's not nothing, that's for sure. Like you see the difference when you have a really great lead on board. So yeah, I was very stoked to hang out and work with her.
Amazing.
Mm.
And was there a particular day or scene on set that was the most emotionally draining, and how did you decompress afterward?
Yeah, the scene, the sort of climax scene in the garage, um, where I've sort of convinced her that we need to kill ourselves, and he puts the hose from the exhaust into the car, and we're gonna sort of pass out. And um, that scene that was literally the emotional climax, because moments later the cops roll up and arrest Rickie and save her life. Um, but yeah, that was a very emotional day for both of us. We did that scene because all the different coverage angles, hours, probably 4 hours straight of in the very hot weather in this garage in Kelowna. Um, and yeah, there was just, trying to stay at that level. It was my challenge. I'm not a method actor per se, and I don't know many people who actually are, but I will, like, it's easier for me to stay in that sort of headspace than to go off and go to crafty and joke around with someone that, oh, I got to get back to this heavy thing. So I'll be find a corner in a quiet space and with some music, or maybe, and reviewing stuff in my head and thinking through the story and things like that, so that when they're ready, okay, bring the actors to set, I can kind of go in with like an emotional fullness. So that's why method actors do what they do, is like they stay in character, for months of a shoot. Like, that's exhausting to me. But staying in an emotional place, and it's easier and having people that sort of respect that, the crew and stuff like that, to sort of, give you your space to sort of do that. And like, that's your job. Everyone's doing their job, setting up the lights and stuff like that. I'm doing my job to sort of be at the ready in an emotional state to sort of slide in as they hit record. So yeah, and both of us the same. And I had to decompress. Yeah, it was a long day. I think I was really hungry, wouldn't eaten anything, and then yeah, just probably slept really well that night. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's just draining more than anything. You never really get depressed or anything in this kind of material. I find. I think if you are, you're maybe doing it wrong. You should probably work on that some stuff. But it's really just draining. It's like almost any situation where you're even excited or tired. Like you just feel tired at the end of the day, and you used up your instrument and it's ready for a break. So yeah, that's what we did.
Great. And did you make any specific physical or vocal um, choices, like posture, cadence, or gestures, to differentiate Rickie from other roles you played?
Yeah, I think there was a lot. Jess didn't really want us to try to mimic the real people or
Oh,
anything, um, but it does help to sort of um, look at what they are doing and like maybe like all those sort of behaviors come from personality, um, uh, things that come are a result of behavior through life. So I think, yeah, I mean, Rickie is also a very large person. I'm 6'5", so that was part of what helped me get the role, I think. But there's, yeah, there's like there's no real. He's not a particularly confident person. Maybe he's just very determined. So there's sort of a naturally just sort of weak backed, sort of hunching, just sort of sitting in his sort of space, and that sort of makes your body sort of curl over versus like, I don't know, some sort of superhero pose, right? That would be like the wide opposite. So it makes more sense that my sort of body language is a little bit smaller because like it's sort of in protection mode because of the life of abuse and stuff. And it kind of makes sense
yeah.
that he would lean more towards that way versus being, um, you know, confident and walking through the world as if everything's okay, which for this character, it's absolutely not. So that was something that was on my mind that I sometimes reminded myself of and sometimes found naturally that it definitely sort of someone on their back foot because of the amount that the stuff that he had to go through. So yeah.
Yeah. So, change of subject,
Okay.
talking about your career in general.
Mm.
So, your filmography includes diverse roles. How did you past work prepare you for the psychological complexity of Rickie? And any earlier role feel like direct practice for this one?
Yeah, actually, I think part of the reason I was put forth was one of the producers on this film I'd worked with before on a another Lifetime movie where I played. It was eventually called Baby Monitor Murders, which was originally called The Babysitter, and I did play a similar kind of unsuspecting bad guy role where he was the sort of town psychologist or therapist, I guess, who was trying to help and protect the main person. Then it turns out he was sort of an incel. I don't know if you know that term, but was basically trying to, you know, had his trouble with women and, thought he deserved a family. And so he kidnaps a woman and kills someone else and steals a child and like, you're going to be my family now. And then, that was so very creepy kind of, and there's a whole big reveal moment with the babysitter, the younger babysitter who catches him and goes on to him and finds him out. And yeah, and it was that was pre-COVID, maybe 6, 7 years ago, maybe more. So yeah, that was a character that, in terms of like going to a sort of dark place, that quite literally helped me get this job, just because I'd played a similar character, and I think combined with my take on it, and then the sort of physical requirements of to match the real person, um, that helped me out a little bit. So yeah, and then also I've done plenty of theater, like I'm trained in theater, so I've done plenty of roles that are sort of more dark and um, tragic and so forth. And so my training early on really sort of helped me. I've no problem, going there when needed. So it's just fun to get the chance to do it. So.
Yeah, amazing. And at this point of your career, how do you choose projects and what draws you to a true story drama versus other genres like rom-coms or thriller?
um, I mean, I honestly, why I've been lucky with my career is I get to do a variety of things. I do commercials. I do, yeah, more rom-com movies. I've done Hallmark movies. I've done Lifetime movies. Yeah, and I just like a variety. I don't like being stuck in doing one thing. So yeah, I'm just happy to to get to do whatever. What was your exact question again around that? I kind of forget.
How do you choose the
How
projects
do I
that you
choose
are
it?
going to do? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if you're lucky, you get to sort of pick and choose. Sometimes it's the work that's available.
Okay.
It's a job that ebbs and flows, like everyone else, like many other jobs, creative jobs. So, yeah, I mean, if but I've been lucky to get to sort of choose, like, say yes to some great things like that. But like you said, if I wouldn't change much in terms of like what I get to do because I enjoy just being on my toes, doing different things all the time. That's what makes this job fun. There might be some actors out there who would love to be on. I'd love to be on, like, yeah, like a regular long running show, so long as it felt like I was doing new things. But I do have friends and actors I know who are on very big successful things, and they wanted out because it wasn't fulfilling artistically. And here are, you're on a big show and everyone knows who you are, and blah blah blah. But it's like, from an artistic standpoint, it can start to drain, I think. So yeah, I like to mix it up.
Yeah, great. So the last question, uh, talking about your next projects, any upcoming projects you can tease about, or particularly uh, something you are on your future?
Yeah, um, I'm actually uh, I'm actually in Vancouver now to shoot a commercial, um, and then I fly to Toronto next week to do another commercial, which yeah, so I'm still sort of in that mix right now, and yeah, it's nice to be able to fly around and do that. I've got to go to some really cool places to shooting commercials. So and working with a director this time as well, who've worked with a bunch of times. So I'm looking forward to do that. But and when I do those, I know that they're going to be funny and fun to do. So as of right now, that's it. And then I will fly back to LA, and October, November. It's looking to be getting a little bit busier now. So yeah, waiting to hear on a couple other things that I shouldn't jinx. So I'll keep it at that. But yeah, staying busy there. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So this is it. Make
Okay.
sure, make sure all of you to quote A Monster in the Family, the Stacey Kananen story, this Saturday night on Lifetime channel. And
Mhm.
thank you, Brandon, to join us today.
Thank you very much. Grazie mille.
It was a pleasure for me.
Thank you.
And
Okay.
thank you all for watching. Bye.
Bye.